Hello everybody and welcome to Tri-State 2012. My name is Travis Allison and I'm here today with Peg Smith, CEO of the ACA. Peg, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you could join me. I invited you here so we could hear the perspective of the CEO and help people get to know you just a little bit better.
Good.
So I have some questions about bigger camp picture things, but I did really want to start with how camp has impacted your family.
My family?
Yeah.
It's actually had a tremendous impact, and it goes back to my grandmother.
Yes.
My grandmother was very involved in Girl Scouts and was a huge camper, which went to her daughter, my aunt.
Yes.
Who was the person who took me to camp first. But the biggest impact camp has had on my personal family is when my youngest son went to camp. And he went to camp after 9/11.
Yes.
And he had been really struggling for a good 6-7 months. Grades were going down,
right.
Depression, and he said to me, I think I need to go to camp.
Right.
And he went to camp, and what came back was my son,
right,
that had been missing for months. And so his hope about life, his aspirations, his belief that he could make a difference and life could be good had been returned to him. So it was incredibly powerful and a lot less expensive than all the counselors that I had been paying for.
You're kidding. So it sort of just flipped his perspective on life going to camp.
It really did.
That's great.
It's powerful.
Yes.
And I'd always said I had been an ambassador for the camp community for years, but once he had that, I said I became an evangelist about it, because I said, no, I'm really serious here. But I was speaking then from a parent's perspective,
right.
And I think I felt, I always had professional passion, but as a parent, we're pretty adamant about things, and we get very passionate about our kids. And all of a sudden, when I'm talking about the camp experience, my child is in the back of my mind, and that enthusiasm, I hope, comes through.
Right. That's great. So as a parent, it's something you advocate as a parent, summer camp experience, not just as a pro.
Right.
That's great. I did want to ask you about camp and sort of where we're going in camping.
Right.
And what do you think are some of the biggest issues facing summer camps right now?
Well, I could list all kinds of things. I hear many things from people, but I do think that some of the trends that we are dealing with that are impacting us are the same that are impacting a lot of organizations, industries, businesses. There is a movement in capital which is changing things for us. There's a movement in sort of popular culture that's having an impact on us. There's a movement, of course, in information, as we all know. And
Yes.
And there's a movement in people. And so all of those things are impacting our entire way of doing business and how we're communicating, etc. But I also think there's another trend or movement I'm seeing, and that is towards the relevance of the camp experience.
Yes.
Which may be a little contrary to what a number of people may see, but I think our biggest challenge there will be articulating that relevance, because I think it's there. In terms of health and wellness, in terms of education, in terms of development, in terms of workforce development, in terms of enhancing civility in society today.
Making people polite.
Creating good citizens who are respectful and appreciative of the diversity in the world, etc., who are global citizens. So I think our relevance is actually stronger now than it was 150 years ago.
Right.
Maybe, however, our ability to articulate that in a world that has so many messages going on and has that movement in information, it's a greater challenge for us, and it causes us to be much more intentional and measured and precise. And I think we're struggling with that. I think as a lot of people are, but I think we'll get there.
Yes.
There's opportunity.
Well, no doubt. And things that are coming out of your office, like the Because of Camp website and the videos and things, have been so great for the industry to be able to point people to and say, don't listen to it just from me, but these others who've had the impact as a parent or as a young person going to camp.
Well, I was just in a workshop, and Doug Pierce was in there, and he was saying, we were talking about messaging, and he was saying, we can't just talk to ourselves. We got to go outside of the box.
Yes.
And he's exactly right.
Right. That's great. I was watching an online discussion about the value of accreditation, and I wonder if you could speak to the people that are organizations that are calling themselves camps that aren't necessarily members or aren't trying to meet the standards, and what that means to the industry going forward.
Well, one of the things we have to just come to grips with is that we don't own the noun.
Yes.
And so, a matter of going out and trying to tell people they can't use the word camp is not going to happen. And again, it goes back to education. When I think about the real value that we have as ACA is the fact that parents really care about safety. It's going to be the number one thing they're always going to talk about. And we have made health and safety always a priority. And one of the strongest ways we do that is through accreditation and our standards. And so I'm always saying to parents, the best evidence, there's no guarantee out there, but the best evidence that you can gather as a parent in terms of determining whether a camp is committed to your child's safety is to look for that accreditation. Now, to a camp, I can't promise them anything either. There's still personal responsibility and accountability. But at the same time, a camp can say to themselves, I have tried to do my best as well. And you can say that to the public as well as, the parents you're dealing with. Because parents still, and again, the workshop I was just in, someone said, well, what are you hearing from parents? And a hand shot up. I want my kids to be safe. And that's not going to go away.
But that badge of accreditation gives camp something to offer to parents to help build trust.
It does, but I think what's interesting, and a lot of people say to me, well, my parents don't ask if I'm accredited. No, they don't, because they assume that you are either licensed or accredited by somebody. Because they believe in today's world that there isn't any location, organization, or program that can serve their child that's not somehow accredited or somebody's not watching. And so when we did parent surveys just about 8 years ago now, it needs to be done again. But when we did about 8 years ago, camp parents, non-camp parents, a number, to a person, the parent would say, well, what do you mean all camps aren't licensed? What do you mean all camps aren't accredited? And no, we don't ask because we assume they are. And so it's something that you have to recognize that parents are just assuming. That's why on parent website we're always saying you need to ask. You need to ask. And if not, why not? That why is an important thing to know as a parent, I think. Yes, absolutely. You can't assume, and it's a parent's responsibility, and we say that on the website too. You have to ask the right questions.
Of course. Peg, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it
coming
too.
on. And if people want more information about the ACA, how can they find out?
Well, you can, if parents want, it's campparents.org. You can go to acacamps.org. It's a very rich website, and a lot of the workshops I've heard here, there's a lot of interest in outcomes and research, and we have, very, very robust research site that I really encourage people to go there.
Back it up too.
And professional development. That research site is pretty jazzy.
Awesome. Thanks, Peg.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.